this is Dave, your brew daddy again. Upon some research, I found out there is another brew daddy. So to keep from confusion, I'll be changing my name to something else we have not decided yet. But for all intents and purposes right now, I'm just going to go by Brew Daddy. But we'll change it. We'll let everybody know. I mean, not a big deal. But anyways, today we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you how to brew a batch of beer from a beer kit. Now, if you could follow the instructions on the back of a macaroni and cheese, boil water, add the powder and all that, you can follow the instructions on a beer kit. So what I usually, when I buy my beer kits, they come in a box like this, and depending on your ABV, your alcohol by volume, the higher, the more that your beer kits will cost. They range anywhere from about 30 bucks. I've seen some at about $60. And another thing that determines on how much you pay, if you notice, there's two different prices. There's one price if you go with a dry yeast. There's another price, different price if you go with a liquid yeast. Liquid yeast is a little bit more expensive, but because I'm, cheap, I usually go with the dry yeast. Not a big deal. You do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But just so you know, some of the dry yeast, make sure you look on the back of the package on how to prepare it. Some of them you just sprinkle into your wort, and some you have to actually put into some warm water, let it sit for a while to activate. So whenever you start your own brew, you know what to do. So today we're going to do an English porter. It's going to be a dark beer. When you're learning how to brew your own beer, following the recipe is pretty crucial. Make sure you do follow it, until you feel more comfortable. And then once you feel more comfortable with brewing your beer, you can kind of experiment a little bit and add a few things. Like today, I'm going to be adding some dark oak chips, and usually it's half an ounce for a 5-gallon batch, but I usually do 1 ounce. So I mean, if you wanted to add 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, whatever, it's up to you. And another thing I'm going to try too is when I soak my wood chips, I'm going to soak my wood chips in some rum to kind of give it like a rum oak barrel taste. Okay, so a few things we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make sure we have everything sanitized. I already have a bucket over here with some sanitizing solution in it. So we're going to go ahead and take some of the things we're going to be working with, and I'm going to sanitize them. Now we've got a couple different airlocks. I like to go with this one just because it's, it does the same thing as this, but I just like using this one a lot more. This one's good if you're doing something that creates a lot of bubbles, or if you need to do what's called a blow-off tube. And all a blow-off tube is, you take this, take all your components out, and you grab a hose. You grab a hose and you stick it in there, and that way the gases can blow out and not let an oxygen in. So you'll have this on this end, and then you'll have this end in a bucket of water or a large glass of water, whatever. So another thing that is crucial too with brewing your beer, also on top of sanitization, is they recommend you use distilled water. If you have a water filter. Using a water filtration system works too, because that's what I did. Is I used to buy the distilled water all the time. Then for a while I could not find. Damn it, woman! Why the hell are you coughing